Friends, and hello student. In this session we learn the data binding concept in ASP.NET with C#. So here I first share my laptop screen and here fix the position so you can watch my video better way. And here Microsoft Visual Studio Express for web edition is open. And first we have to take new file, here file menu, and take new file in web page. That is a C# web form file is there, and here give the name of file, and we can use the GridView control. So gv demo, and that is a data bind. So what is a data bind? So that is our data bind or binding. So data bind GridView, or just you can here give the full name. So GridView, yes, GridView data bind. So you can recognize this even. So there are two types of binding: simple binding and complex binding. So simple binding, we can just only single value to any text box or label, that is known as a simple data binding. But we can like on file list control is there, like RadioButtonList, CheckBoxList, DropDownList, ListBox, and BulletedList. So that whole one column bind, that is complex data binding. And whole table we have to bind, that is our tabular. There are 6 tabular control in ASP.NET. So GridView, repeater, DataList, and ListView. There 4 control who is a display all record at a time, and 2 other tabular control, that is FormView and DetailView, that is at a time same one record display, but that is a in background that allow paging true, that the number of record is a hyperlink. So tabular, there are 6 control: file list control, that is data bound, and 6 tabular control, and 2 menu and TreeView, that is hierarchical control. So here first we can use the GridView and complex data binding example, and we can also use the select parameter. So first we can take one GridView. So here GridView and that ID, like GV department, we have to bind the department table and run at server side, and then data key name, that is a must. So EPT ID, department ID, that's meaning. And auto generate select button, we have to first just select button, and that is a true. Okay, so here we can define the some student not get in SQL data source we can also use, and here I use the access data source. So you can understand access database table we have to also bind. So here we can give the ID like access_db and run at server side, and then we can data file name. So here we can first take our database, then we can bind, and then that ID we can provide the GridView, like here that data source ID, that property is a data source ID. In data source only one that is used in coding part, but data source ID in the design part or data binding part without coding. In this technique there is no any coding in code behind file or C#, that is no any coding, but just designing property we have to set. So here access data source, this ID we can copy, or we can write remember and directly type to here, that provide to here. So data source ID, so whatever this access data source, all that data is assigned to GridView. So first I save and then minimize and taking the access database table. So here in my laptop Microsoft Office 2013 and Access 2013, in any version you have to create. So first in that is a database is there like TempDB, but we can create here new blank database, yes, and then we can select our main website folder, and then we can store, that is database we can store, that is important in ASP.NET, and then our data binding website folder is there. So here and then application data folder in sub main website folder name, and in APP means application data, and then here one already I temp data. So here I give my DB or any name, all DB, that UIDB. Okay. So my DB. Okay. So here create, yes, create my DB. And here we cannot that select because that is a ID auto generate. So we can close this open table, and here create and design table. Yes. So here we can take the department table. So DEPT ID, department ID, and then it is a numeric, yes, number means, and that no, that is optional, you can give also that, and department D name, department name, and then short text, and then department like location, LOC, location means where, which place that department is allocated. So that is also text, and there are only 3 fields we have to take, and here I first assign to yes uh, that primary key here in department. So that is primary key. Yes, you can also press this button. So here I close this table. Save, yes. So that is name is a department, DEPT, department. Okay. So we can combine the department and employee table to select parameter. But first we can bind complex data binding. So now yes, that database is I think our table is created. So how is there? So yes, expand here, and that is I think save. Yes, that our yes let us I close. So yes, first close, and we can take the connection string. So that time taking the error. So here now we can store, but connection string is SQL data source that time is required. Here we can take the like data file name and equal sign, and then pickup URL is a option. And here our application data folder is there. I just double click. So yes, that not taking or some, so that our database is not created. So how it's not created? Yes, let us check. So yes, access and then store. Yes, now we can open. Yes, our database is there, but yes, now is open. Yes, department. So that is ready. Okay, and that not I think save. Okay, or any problem is there. So now is I think open some. Okay. So I minimize, yes, and now refresh our folder. That is a happen sometime. So here our like application only one, I just select, because after we have to create, before we have to create, and we can open our website that already listed, but we have to first open website folder. So we can what to do, refresh folder, then our yes now is appear. So sometimes that not appear directly, we can take refresh folder. So now we can select. Okay, now that is ready. So here pick up URL, and then application that underscore data, that APP, that folder, and we can select my DB, my database. Okay, that is complete. Okay, now we can some add data also, because we cannot take any data in that database. So open, yes, open first, that is yes my DB. So now is open, and we can take department name, because GridView not insert operation is performed. So we can take ourselves like 1 yes, and then our department, yes, department name like purchase, we have to take the purchase department. Okay, so purchase, yes, and location, any city name, Rajkot, yes, so Rajkot, yes. Now 22, that is 1 and then directly to cells, yes, and then umbrella or any city, then 33, yes, and then we can give like operation, and that is a Bhavnagar, yes, Nagar, okay. So we can take only 3 department initially in store in this file. Okay, so that database table. So now I close, yes, and now we can bound. So here we can what to do. Here we can take the select parameter. Yes, select command is there in access data source. So then and then that data is displayed. So select star from DPT department table name over. So that all record, because we can access database ID to data source ID to GridView, and data key name is a department ID, that is primary key. So and also auto generate select button we have to true. So now yes, I just compile and run, yes, means that is debugging, and that run, yes, let us that GridView display all over, yes, that is all record is display without coding. So that is a here that all department is there. Okay, now what to do, we can also use the select parameter. So here we can first in GridView we can take the auto generate, auto generate, that is the other two edit button is there, so we can just true, and then auto generate, that delete button is there, and that is just true. So there are two buttons we have to take, and appropriate query you have to write. There is no any other required, because the template in FormView we can see also data binding, how to use template. But here GridView is a display in HTML normal table. So here we can write the update query, and then you have to know very well update query. Here I just yes update, yes, so update, that is a, and then table name department dpt set value. So based on department ID we can change or set like d name equal to @ sign you have to use. So d name as it is comma, so dloc location department location, that, and @ d location department location, and where clause where. So what department ID equal to @ department ID. So that is our update query. You have to know very well that is a, but here that is a @ sign, that is a syntax of the data bounding in @ sign. So that is a field name, and that is a we have to bound. So runtime our automatically that is a update, we have to perform the update operation, then update button and cancel button is automatically displayed. And also we can use the delete command. So we have to all here we can insert is not possible in grid. So insert we have to inform you, we can form your other 5 control. 5 tabular control is possibility to insert, insert template is there, insert command we have to use, but in GridView there is not possibility to insert. So here we can delete command. So delete from department table name where that department ID equal to @ department ID. So that is finished. Okay, let us check how it's work. So we have to perform edit and delete operation. So now I just run first, stop debug and save and then run. So perfectly we have to work. Yes, let us take how it's work. So yes, I think that is running. Yes, and now all button is appear. Select we have to use also, but here I edit press. So yes, that is only two open, that not open, because we have to depend where close where department ID, and we can change here like I change the dispatch department and city go to the any name, uh, Ahmedabad. Okay, so okay, DA, yes, BAD, Ahmedabad. So yes, and just here you can watch update and cancel automatically appear. If you press the cancel hyperlink, that not update, and update, that is updated. Yes, so we can see our database table that is also updated. So I just double click, and here you can see the dispatch and Ahmedabad. Okay, so that is very without coding. We have to not write coding any one line, single line we have to not write. I just show you. So here we cannot write anything. So our page is running, and also we can delete. Yes, that possible. So I just delete one testing because we have to only 3 record is there. So we can delete. Yes, that deleted record. Okay. So let us take in, I first close because that open, and I close this file and reopen. So yes, that is only 2 departments. So that is also possible. You have to directly, and I show you what that is a, first I close this running page, and yes, and stop debugging, yes, and then I minimize the screen, and here our GridView data bind, that is our file name. So first, yes, that is file here, data GridView data bind, and here I show you that is we can, that is known as code behind GridView underscore data bind dot aspx dot cs file. Here we cannot write any single line of code. So without writing any code, that is a data binding, and that is a complex data binding. So first I insert manually because the GridView not possible to insert record. Other tabular file like ListView, DataList, FormView, DetailView, and repeater, that all are insert operation also perform, but GridView not take the insert operation. So here we can operation, and that Raj code we have to delete one. So that is or Bhavnagar, whatever. So only 3 department we have to take. Okay, so I close this, and now we can create the other table. Yes, that is now, and we can select parameter we have to use. So create, yes, and design table, and here we can give the employee ID, EID, yes, and then that number, and then name, employee name, yes, that is short tax, and then basic salary of employee, and then department ID, same as our department. So that is a how which department holding, that I just select the EID in here and assign to primary key, that is yes. So that is primary key, and now we can, that is a first save, and that is name EMP, just okay, or EMP info, that is only EMP, yes. So that is now we can, yes, that refresh, I think. So then again, yes, here any option is there, refresh not. So yes, here we can search EMP. No, that is not open. So I just remove. So here we can expand, yes, that depart table tab selected and refresh, yes. So not refresh. So where is our table? So I first, that is same way, here we can reopen, yes. First I close, open, and here our database, yes, and then I close that all. So I close this span, yes, and then also here I just, yes, then not appear. So here refresh option is not there. So file menu, and then open, yes, and we can open our database, yes, that already open, but that not yes, yes, now just press F5 function key, so that is a refresh. Okay, now here I give the employee name, so like 1011 is our employee. So here we can give 101, and that is a like Ram name, and basic salary 1000, and department holding 111. So that 102, then Sita and 2000, and also 11, that first department 103, and Lakshman, yes, 3000, and then same department. Now 104, that is like Puja, yes, any name, and then like 4000 I give sequence, and department 22, yes, that is our department, and 105, that is a Krishna, yes, and 5000, and that is same two department 222, and 106, and that is we can give like Krupa, yes, and 6000, and that is third department 33, yes, and last we have to add manually record, and like Mira, yes, and then 7000, and that is same. So 111, that first our department, that is 3 employee, second department 2 employee, and third also 2. Okay, so that is our goal. So first, yes, I close save first, yes, save, Control S I just give, and yes, so that is you can see our T department is there. Okay, now I minimize, and here we can what to do. So I take new grid, and yes, first take the grid, yes, GridView, yes, and then ID of second grid. So GVEMP employee, that is meaning, and run at server side, and data source ID, first data key name we have to provide, and that is EID, employee ID, and then data source ID we can provide the access underscore, that is accessDB is already we have to use, so access EMP, that is, and here also we can change in our table name. So here I on first access data source, here DPT, access DPT, so we can recognize easily. So here access, I change that data source ID, and here second grid we can access EMP, and data key name is there. Okay, just now I close and take a second access data source control also. So here ID is we can predefine our means we can fix access underscore DB, that is my meaning, not predefined. So access we can fix that, yes, and that, yes, what happened, yes, here. Okay, so that is perfect, yes. So why not giving the help, yes, first I stop debug, I think, save, yes, and now any remaining open is there. So then and then that library is not open sometime. So here, yes, I close pair tag we have to take. So yes, access, so control and then select, yes, and that 2 times slash is there. So yes, one is removed. Yes, now we can take the second ASP, now his help is open and access data. Okay, and then yes, now library is open. So access underscore EMP, that is, and run at server side, and data file name, that is same as above, but we can select pickup URL, so you can see in second time. So application AWP, and then my DB, that is 2 table, department and EMP. Okay, and now I first above, so you can watch better way, and then select parameters. So first we can, as it is previously our coding is revision, so select, yes, select star from EMP, just table name, and then close, yes. So yes, first we can check, yes, I save and run. So both grid, first is a department and second is a EMP. So what we can do now, we can select, yes, here is appear. So when we are select that number of department is, that is select parameter we have to only first 3 employees only display. In second week, first there is not display anything. We can run that time only one grid is there, and then we can select button that time employee number department number 111 is only selected. If you here select, then 2 department, there are 2 employees selected, and 3 is at only 2, so 2 and 3, that is 2 employees there. So yes, so what to do? So we can use the select parameter. Yes, so here in where clause, here in select star from employee where, just where, and department ID, that is also in this table also emp is filled. So department ID where clause just only, and also here in access, that is a pair tag, that is start tag and end tag. In between we can use select parameter. Yes, select parameter, and then child tag is a control parameter. Control parameter we have to use. So control to ID, which grid? So our that grid ID we can assign, that is our target. So GV department GridView GV DEPT, that is control. Watch, that is one type of watching without coding. So that grid ID we can assign, like here our access data ID assigned to this data source ID. Same way in reverse order, this GridView ID we can assign the control ID, GV department. Okay, so control ID, and then we can take the name. So name our watch which field. So department ID, we can watch to department ID, and property name, that is a selected value. Yes, so selected value. So that is a, and close tag is control parameter. So that is set, just only property set I just revised. So what to do? First general select star from, we can assign the where clause, and that is a first department ID is here, or that is data key name is a department ID, and that is also we can take in employee form. Okay, so here we can department ID equal to @department ID. Who is select the only employee, that department is match, so that we can select command. Okay, where clause assign select query, and then we can take the select parameter in child tag access data source control, and then select parameter we can use the control parameter, and 3 property we have to set. Control ID, that is the name of this first grid ID, you can assign this because we can watch, that is controlling that grid, that is mean watch. We can watching the only selected button press user, then that department only in the second grid, and that is using the control or select parameter. So what is a name of that field? That is a key name here. So our key name is a here, and also emp, that is department ID we have to also take. So that is a one field in 2 table, department ID in department table and employee ID, and selected value that we have to set. Okay, so I just save, and first let us check how it's work. So first stop the debugging, save and run. So yes, now that is running. So that is a complex data binding, and we can use the select parameter or control. Yes, so second grid is not displayed. Whenever we can press select button, that time only display. So I first select button, yes, auto generate, that is true. Yes, only that is a watch, you have to see here only one, that is a first department employee only displaying second grid. So that is a select parameter. So easy, there is no any coding, single line we have to done. That is a data binding. So here I press again, yes, I deselect and select second department. Yes, only second department employees display, and then third department. Yes, so that is only third department employees is displaying second grid. Okay. So now we can what to do, some formatting or CSS cascading style sheet we have to use. So here first I fix the title, and that is we have to not define early. So here data binding, okay, and that is a, we can say that complex data binding, or we can also use select parameter or control parameter. So there is a very important. So I just revise, and also you can watch in Access database. Here our employee table also hold the department ID, that is, and here also our department ID. So give the same name, otherwise not effect of the select or control parameter. Select parameter in the child tag is a control parameter. Okay. So, and that is we have to define department ID is primary key, and here employee ID, EID is a primary key. Okay. So now I go in my, Microsoft Visual Studio 2000 Express Web Edition is there, and here we can define some CSS style sheets. Okay. So where here in head section of that in between head after title or before title, style tag is there, style tag, and then type is CSS text, yes, and close tag. So here we can define first HTML. There are two type of block, that is a block and general block and dot block, specific block, we can say that also. So here we can define the general block, and we can define here already properties, so we can use that like background color, and here we can assign so many. So here silver, yes, silver, so many color is there, but we can assign silver. And then font, yes, so font family, yes, that family, and then column, and so many style like uh, yoga, yes, here, and semicolon, and also that series, yes, so many style is there. So there is which style we have to take, yes. So here we can only, yes, that not I think. So geograph, some, yes, that's series, yes. So we can sans series is there. So yes, global sans series is there. So that is we can series, yes, semicolon. Okay, and in between also you can, I think semicolon is there, yes. Error is there, no. So it's not required. So geograph sans series. Okay, we can directly take geo, yes, that is name, I think so many fonts type is there. So oh yes, that is only, and then we can define the series, yes, that is a meaning. So I think make define, yes, so that semicolon, and then that is a general HTML, means that our whole page is a silver color. Now we can define the dot block. So that is CSS Cascading Style Sheet. That full form is a Cascading Style Sheet. So here we can define our grid view. So grid view, yes, and then opening closing brace, and that we can uh, float, yes, that property float, and assign to the left side. So yes, left, so many properties there. So we can left side our grid, left side, and then margin we have to set margin, and then right margin, yes, and that colon sign, and we can fix also and provide the specific. So here I 25, you can also auto or inherit or initial, that type also, but 25 px pixel, and then background color, yes. So here also background, and we can define any color, so many color is there. So here we can take like black is not okay, so all are black. Aqua, what is it? Okay, aqua we have to take, and then we can like grid view, yes, I define the two grid view td, our table data, and dot grid view, yes, and th table, we can see the heading, yes, our heading, and that we can define the some, yes, that not proper pass. So here we can padding or margin use. So padding, yes, and that is like we can say that 10 pixel or yes, anything. So here 10 pixel, and last we can selected, that is also we can take the block selected, yes, selected row. so that we can define that color selected row. So whenever using first grid, that selection span color is we have to background color. So we can use like here pink, yes, or any so many color is there. So let us how many purple. So purple is there, red is there. So yes, what is a plum? Purple is there, yes, red, rose, browse, yes. Let us take first testing, yes, and we can apply that block, yes. So that is HTML block directly apply, so we cannot apply, but in GridView we can apply our general block. And how to apply that is main CSS style sheet cascading. So here one property in every control in HTML or ASP.NET HTML type also you have to define. So here CSS class is there, and we can equal sign, then dot block already appear. You look in the here that CSS class I give in GridView, so automatically two dot block GridView and selected row. So here I assign the GridView. Okay, and same also in second grid, yes, here also GridView assign, and then here we can assign the uh, like CSS class, yes, and that same block GridView. And how the selected, yes, that property, yes, selected, yes, something selected, yes, selected, yes, selected style row CSS class select when that time appears. So that is selected row in first grid, because we can select in first grid. So selected row. So yes, first I save and then run this, yes, first stop debug, yes, F5 and save, yes, and run. So let us how color is there. So we can also take some different color, but here we can testing first. So yes, that is a silver background, and that is like a shine or that type. Okay, we can select, yes. So yes, that is a color is there. All are selected, and here also same color is there. Yes, we can define the same color. So here, yes, the perfect color, that is our output is, so that is a effect of the block. So that is a very important in website development. So any deadline you have to work, that time you can use data binding concept without coding. So that is very effective coding. So here our that selected color is not perfect, so we can take like any other color. So here first grid selected row style CSS, so that we can change in our, yes, here that property is same name, but that color we have to not like rose brown. So here so many color is there. So here we can blue, violet, not brown, yes. So chocolate is there, cola, yes, so many color is there. Shine is there, dark blue, yes. So we can select the pink, yes. That is how it's look, yes. Then yes, I first stop debug and run. So yes, we can use the CSS style sheet also in this session. CSS style sheet, how to create the block, general block and dot block. So general block automatically effect like that silver background, and that is dot block we have to design that color. And yes, so that is not effect because that our color is a, and that not effect. So we can, our main color we can define the white. So here aqua is there. So here in GridView color we can define the white color. So then our other color is displayed. So I just save, first stop debug and run. So that is the only one way we can check the perfect design and layout in website. So you can change your color combination. Yes, that white background and that silver all page background, that is grid background, and select, yes, that pink color is now displayed. So that is a happen. So yes, whenever take the background simple that white, then that row selected color is displayed. And you look that table and perfect alignment and padding, that is a TR and TD. So here our all padding. So that is a some blank here some space is there. So in between the data. So that is padding 10 pixel we have to use. So that is effect also automatically. Okay. So I hope you can enjoy this session. Yes, and we can use the data binding. So yes, that is a complex data binding, and also we can use the general block. Yes, here and dot block. What is the effect of CSS Style Sheet in web ASP.NET website or web page? And here very important our control parameter select, and also you can see here in select parameter when you can here so many parameter, cookies parameter, dynamic control, dynamic query string, form parameter, parameter is there, profile query string, okay, route, so many session. Yes, so that is all our parameter we have to use in our ASP. But here we can only use in the control parameter and watch, or we can take control in our first grid. Yes, GridView department, and base of department ID that appropriate that selected value, and that we have to define here. I just summarize. So select EMP where department ID is a match, that only employees display in the second grid. So we can control here, but that control parameter we can use that first grid ID, that is a here. So in data binding concept, access or SQL data source also, an access data XML data source also. So here we can access data. We can use also SQL Server backend tool. That time SQL data source you have to use, same that process. But here data file name is in that SQL data source, that is connection string we have to take. That is a one difference. So here data file name we have to take directly database name. Okay, so that is difference. And here I just access data source ID, we can assign the data source ID to here, that first grid, and then second data source ID assigned to the second grid data source ID. And here control parameter in reverse order, that grid ID assigned to the control ID, that is main important. And here your field name, that is you can where clause bind in the select parameter based on your employee selected that department ID. So that name you have to provide the here, that name, that is also important. If you not provide proper name, that is not perfect. And selected value. So yes, so now I complete this session, and here I also select some last time other color, how it now look, because we can take the background as a white background of our grid view. So like some now all color is a perfect way I think. So we can take brown. Yes, how it's look. So let us, so many color style is there. So first stop the debug and save, and then run. Yes, save and then run. So then your effect is working. So I think yes, that the white background, so brown or like yellow, so many color is there. Yes, so that is a brown. Okay, so we can select. Yes, so our related department is only display here 3 employee in first department. We can say that second department 2 employees there, and third department also 2 employees there. So I hope you can understand it, enjoy this session. Very simple way, without coding. We have to not single line of coding in this session. That is a data binding or bounding. That is complex data binding, we can say that. So yes, I subscribe my channel Ashok C. Jalakadi. Press the bell icon to never miss any update. Thanks for your watching, subscribing, and sharing my video lecture. Or any doubt for any definition in ASP.NET or any other programming language, you can write in comment section, and never miss press the bell icon. So whenever I upload my video lecture, that time you can get the notification. Okay, and also share my video lecture. So if you like my video lecture, then you can in your friend, your group, or other college student, you can share my video lecture. And subscribe must be because you have to benefit for you. Okay, so thanks and Hare Krishna.